Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing something a little different. I'm going to be talking about finding purpose and intention. So today's not going to be a tarot reading, it's just going to be me talking about purpose and intention. So let's go ahead and clear our space. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Saturday. Okay, perfect. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about here was that I think I mentioned to you guys in the last video that I uploaded that I want to start doing podcasts and just talking about different topics. So today, like I said, I want to talk about purpose and intention, how to find your purpose and how to move with intention once you have found that purpose. So I do have my notes here so I don't forget, because in true ADHD fashion, I'll probably start talking about things that are unrelated to this topic. But just roll with me. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about here is the definition of purpose. So the definition of purpose is the reason for which something is done or exists. And intention is the aim, the plan, and the goal to execute this purpose. So when it comes to purpose, I don't want you guys to think that this is like a job or this is like a specific career path that you're supposed to take. The way that I see purpose is something that motivates you, something that drives you. I see it more so as like an expression of your lifestyle. So I always want to recommend everyone here to go after something that they love to do, something that, what is your why? What is your reason for waking up in the morning? What makes you feel good about yourself, but not in an egotistical way, but more so what makes you feel good on a soul level and on a heart level. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of like my whys, my purpose, so to say, or like some methods of expression that I use to live out my purpose. So one thing that I noticed early on about myself is that I really love being of service to others. I really love seeing people happy. I really love seeing people taken care of. I love when people feel good about themselves, not only in their body, but in their mind and in their spirit as well. So going back to the very beginning, I would definitely say that fitness was very important to me growing up. So as a kid, I was actually in a couple different sports. That's one thing I'll definitely thank my parents for putting me in so many different extracurricular activities to kind of see what I was drawn to see what I was interested in, what I was good at. So I was in soccer, I was in gymnastics, I was in ballet. I ran as well. I did a couple, not like team sports at like a school or anything, but I was on a soccer team. I did ballet for a little while until I kind of got scared. I let my fears kind of talk me out of that one, which I hope to go back to now as an adult. But where am I going with this? Yeah, so what I wanted to say here is that I was drawn to being physically active from a very young age. So I started to realize as I got older, like my older teen years, I actually really got into fitness like seriously, I would say by the age of like 16, 17. So by that time I was already like running after school. I would go to the park and go run a mile, or I would go, I remember that one of the first markers that kind of indicated to me that fitness would be a very important part of my life was when I was in 4th grade and I was the only girl who chose to run the mile. I realized that this is something that I might take with me moving forward. This is something that's very important to me. And this pattern repeated itself when I found myself as the only girl on like a boys volleyball team, or as the only girl who would choose to be in a weightlifting class, things like this. So going back to being of service, finding purpose and intention, this was when I started to realize that maybe this was something that could be a part of my purpose, and I didn't really know it at the time. Until I reached like 19 years old. So this was around the time of my nodal return. So our nodal return happens at the ages of 19 and 20, between that time period. And this is a time where the nodal axis returns to the same place that it was when we were born. So usually at this time, we'll have some sort of epiphany about our life's purpose, what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to be taking action towards. It's going to put us on that North Node path for the future. So that's actually when I started working at a gym full-time, and I would notice that I would help other people on the floor. I worked at the front desk, but I would take the responsibility of going out on the floor and helping people with their form, helping people with different exercises, answering questions that they had about fitness and health as well, because health was very important to me, like healthy eating, I think I started cooking for myself when I was like 16 or 17. So about that same time period is when I started to take my physical health into real consideration. So it wasn't really like a serious thought to me until one of my coworkers brought it up to me. She was like, hey Alex, like I realize that you're always out there helping people and you seem to be pretty good at it, so why don't you become a personal trainer? And I was like, you know what, like you're right, why don't I become a personal trainer? So this is something that I started to pursue. I got my certification through NASM, so my CPT, I just started with that. And I started training people. I started working at gyms, and I realized that this was something that made me feel really good about myself, but again, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that I knew that I was making a difference in other people's lives. And this was very important to me. It was very touching to me to be able to help others, put them on the right track with their fitness, because a lot of the times we are put in these positions because others need our guidance, and people that have already discovered health and fitness, that are already familiar with it. Where am I going with this? I don't know where I'm going with this, but ultimately, like, I just felt like I knew I was meant to be there. You know, like you just have that feeling that this is what you're meant to do at this time. So I went with it. And at the time I was actually in school to become an ultrasound technician. And I ended up basically dropping out of that curriculum so that way I could pursue personal training full time, because I realized around the ages when 19 and 20 that I wanted to pursue something that was more holistic, health based, not really, I mean, nothing against like the hospitals or anything like that or the clinics, but I just personally feel that I would have been a better fit doing my own thing, starting my own business, working with others in a more holistic approach versus like working through the pharmaceuticals. And yeah, I'm not gonna get into that right now because that's like a totally different topic, but basically I really found that health is important to me, right? So I just went with that. I started training part-time, full-time. I started working at a couple different gyms. I gained experience in private gyms and in can't think of the word. Yeah, I worked in a couple different gyms. I had commercial gyms, I think that's the word I'm trying to look for. So I worked in a couple commercial gyms as well. And I gained a lot of experience working with different types of people, teenagers, older people. I realized that a lot of my clients in the very beginning were like elderly folk or people who had some sort of like health restriction or some sort of compensation in their physical movement. And this was very challenging for me at the time, but I learned a lot through it. I learned a lot about how to not only be there for someone and teach them how to move properly, but to care for them and to actually take into consideration their specific ailment and whatever illness they were going through. I realized that I started to have a lot of like love for these people, and they became, not everyone became my friend, but I would say that I became very empathic to these people. And since I was a child, I've always been a very empathic individual. I could always feel energies. I could always tap into what people are thinking, what they're feeling, what they need at any given time. I always just intuitively knew what that person needed. So I would kind of coordinate their fitness routine and their health routine around that, and also taking into consideration the science aspect of things. So specific diets that they needed to follow, or some sort of protocol that they needed to follow for their health. I always took that into consideration as well. And I, again, like just thinking back to this time period of when I was like 19, 20, 21, I'm 27 now. But at this time, I thought that I was going to pursue personal training like professionally, in the sense that I would become like big with it, or it would be like pretty much like my job for the rest of my life. And who knows, like I don't know, because I still train. It's still something that I do. It's not something that I do full time, but I really love it. There's nothing that kind of replaces that feeling of teaching someone how to move their body, teaching someone how to take care of their health. It's always going to be very fulfilling for me. So I don't see myself stopping that anytime soon. Yeah, so I would say that was the first major like career path that I took with my purpose, so to say. And I always had the right intention, right? The aim, the plan, the goal to execute, because it's something that I love to do. Fitness quickly became a part of my everyday routine, my everyday lifestyle. I could not, it's almost like fitness was like breathing to me. I could not see myself not going a couple days without exercising, or not making some sort of movement a part of my daily routine. So I was like, this is very important to me. I think I need to spread awareness to other people that they should be doing this too, and I can help them do this. So why not? And Another thing for me as well, going back to my childhood, which I should have touched on this before that, but when I was a kid, I was always very creative. Going back to me being very intuitive, I always loved to draw and paint. I took a couple different, I think I took at least like one of each art class that you can think of. So like drawing, painting, knitting, crocheting, sewing, like I did everything. I tried everything at least once. And I remember that I really loved to sew. Like my grandmother taught me how to use her sewing machine. My best friend in 3rd grade and we taught ourselves to knit. And I remember that, like, if I remember correctly, I don't think she completely like stuck with it. Like I think she taught herself how to do it. I remember we were sitting in her room one day and we just like spent the whole day like trying to teach each other how to knit and how to just work with the yarn and do different things with that. And I don't think she ended up keeping that a part of her hobbies, but I wouldn't know. We did move our separate paths from that point on. I don't really have connection to her anymore, but she still holds a place in my heart. But I remember that I actually kind of kept going with that. So towards like 4th, 5th grade, middle school, I still had knitting and crocheting as part of my hobbies, and I made a couple different things with that. So I realized that creativity was very important to me. There was even a time period in elementary school and middle school where I would sell some of my creations. Like I would make certain things and I would sell them to people, or I would gift them to people. I made pillows. I made a couple scarves, like handkerchief type of things. I don't think I ever made a beanie, but I made a couple scarves. I made a couple things that I could give away to others. And I quickly realized that me being creative, it just made me feel really good. It made me feel really good to make something for another person that I made with my own love, my own attention to detail, and just giving that away to someone else. And I feel like even when I was younger at that time period, I knew that creativity was going to be very important to me. I just didn't know like how much of a role it was going to play in my life, because as I aged, I took more art classes. I took a painting class. I started to delve more into specifically painting. I would say that painting is like it's the most important one to me. I don't know, that's not the right word, but I would say it's the one that I gravitate to the most. I really love to paint. I love charcoal. I love anything that I can do with my hands. So like I quickly realized that as the intuitive that I was, as the creative that I was, I really like to have like some sort of physical medium that I could kind of draw out or paint out what I was feeling, what I was thinking. And I just loved having a blank canvas. I loved having something to work on. And I'm not the best artist at all. I don't know how to draw like realistic type of things, but I would definitely say that abstract art is where I really shine. So just kind of just doing my thing. And I think you guys have seen, if you watch my channel, like I'll do like watercolor paintings or charcoal paintings sometimes, charcoal drawings. And it's just something that really helps me kind of get my creativity out and to kind of just express myself, and it just feels really good. So that's why I feel like it's also a part of my purpose. So going back to what motivates or drives you, what is your why? My why for me, fitness, creativity. And now as I've gotten older, in the past couple of years, me starting this channel, I had a huge spiritual awakening in 2020 when COVID started and we all had to stay home and just all of those things happened. It hit me really, really hard, and I had a very difficult time kind of working through everything that I had been suppressing my entire childhood. The traumas that I've been through, the experiences that I've been through, and this is also going to be something that I might tap into down the line a little bit deeper. But where am I going with this? Hold on, I gotta like bring myself back down to center, because otherwise I'm just gonna go off on a tangent in so many different directions here. But I literally just lost my train of thought. Yeah, so when I had my spiritual awakening, I got into tarot, and I was never specifically drawn to tarot cards when I was younger, but I always used to love playing memory games. I loved playing with like just like a normal card deck, like a poker card deck, but I wouldn't really like use it the typical way. I wouldn't follow the rules. I just really loved cards. I really loved kind of seeing the patterns in the cards, seeing the imagery, and also me being into painting, me being into art. I was always very intuitive when I would kind of look at art. So I realized that now at this age, I do realize that when I was younger, I was always scrying through different art pieces. So basically like looking at an art piece, kind of deciphering what I feel from that intuitively, And this was the same thing that I brought into reading cards. So I was gifted my first card deck by my best friend, and I remember I used it like twice. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, and I put it back. I was a little bit scared, actually. It was the Deviant Moon Tarot. So by Davis, what's his name? No, wrong person. I know his last name is Valenza. I just can't think of the first name right now. But yeah, anyway, it was the Deviant Moon Tarot. It was a pretty dark tarot deck, and at the time I don't think I was ready for it, so I kind of put it back on my shelf, picked it up like 6 months later, and then after that point on I kind of just rolled with it. So I quickly realized that tarot was a tool that I could use to kind of also express my intuition, my creativity. So if I go back to what my purpose and intention is, I would say that it's being of service, creative expression, leading others, making an impact in a way that can help others become more aware of who they are, but also aware of the world around them. And even now to this day, I still don't really have like a definition of what my purpose is, but I do know what makes me motivated, what drives me, what wakes me up every single day. And this is kind of why I wanted to talk about this and these experiences, because maybe it can kind of help awaken a purpose within you, or it can help you realize that maybe you do have a purpose and you don't have to go looking for it, but it's already within you, and you just need to find a way to express that. So yeah, because that's another thing that I'm going to get into in another episode, where I talk about divination being like a tool for your intuition. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that today. Another thing when it comes to your purpose, do what you'll never get tired of doing. So again, how I talked about like fitness being almost like breathing to me. Like I cannot go more than 2 days without exercise. Like if I go 2-3 days, like my mind is just like all janked up. My body starts to hurt. Like it's just not normal for me at this point, because I've been active for so long at this point in my life that it's not even a job to me anymore. It's a lifestyle to me, and it's just something that I continue to do. So I really feel like, and I even wrote down here, again, following my notes here, listen with your heart and you will understand, from Pocahontas, when Grandmother Willow was telling Pocahontas to listen to what she was feeling, because she felt that something was coming, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it, and she just told her, listen with your heart and you'll understand. So if you guys are in a time period right now where you feel like you're overthinking your purpose, or like you don't know what to do for work, you don't know what to do for your career, I would definitely say, like, just follow what makes you feel good. Follow what makes you feel fulfilled in your heart space. What makes you feel like you've actually made a difference. Because I'm always going to kind of come back to saying that a purpose is in some way being of service to humanity. That's just what I feel. That's what I believe. I believe that all of us have some sort of talent or gift that we can help others with. So for some of us, it's going to be art, it's going to be music, it's going to be dancing, performing, being a doctor, whatever it may be for you guys, playing sports, making a difference in the world of, I don't know why I'm blanking out again, because I'm just thinking of way too many things right now, but yeah, I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like basically what I'm trying to say here is your purpose is something that is going to make a difference, but at the same time, it's going to make you feel fulfilled as an individual. Let me think about if there's anything else I wanted to say here. You know, I think I pretty much covered everything in my notes, so I'm gonna sit here for a second, see if there's anything else I want to add. Yeah, I honestly think that's it. I think I just wanted to start this, and because I haven't really put my face on here as much for you guys, and now that I have a space where I can kind of freely express myself, where I can be more myself and not have to kind of worry about outside things, I feel like it's going to be very healing for me, very conducive for me to do what I want to do on this channel. Yeah, I really truly feel that. Also when it comes to purpose and intention, there was a time period kind of like after that spiritual awakening that I had in 2020 where I kind of was just like perusing through life a little bit, not like aimlessly, but I did feel like I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know if I want to continue personal training, if I want to pursue it like further. I know that I'm very intuitive. I know that like I've always had psychic abilities. I just didn't know what to do with it. They were kind of repressed within me. There was a point even when I was about 13 years old where I wished it away because I was afraid of it. I was afraid of my ability to connect to the other side. I was afraid of my ability to kind of feel and see what other people were thinking and what they were about to do. I can feel people's intentions. Like it's a very overwhelming world, the world of energy. And many of you who are watching me here, you know that. And it wasn't until I met a very specific person on my path a couple years ago who kind of changed everything for me. Like it kind of helped put things into perspective for me, because there was something about meeting this person where I saw a lot of myself in this person, where I was like, it's time. Like it's just time. It's time to step into who I've been hiding. It's time for me to kind of pull down this mask of being fearful and shy and intimidated by others in the world around me, and thinking that I won't be able to become someone or to become something. And just meeting this person a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, it really just changed everything for me. It changed my entire perspective on life. It brought like a deeper spiritual awakening to me. It connected me back to myself. This person was a very important person on my path, and I have a lot of love for him, and I always will. I would really say that meeting the right people can also help trigger you into realizing what you're meant to do on this planet in this lifetime. So really pay attention to the people that you surround yourself with. Pay attention to just how you feel around certain individuals, certain environments, because I really feel that can also bring out just different aspects of who you are. Because again, there was just something about that encounter, meeting that person and kind of just having interactions with this person that really put my life into perspective. And there was just something that kind of, it like brought something out of me. It brought that creativity out of me. It kind of broke my shell completely, to the point where I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why don't I pursue what I want to pursue, right? Like, why don't I start tarot? Why don't I start my YouTube channel? Why don't I start singing and dancing? Because these are things I also want to start doing again, because I kind of left that back in my childhood. So it's almost like this inner child part of me is coming out again to play, and she's coming back with full force. So I feel like I've gained a lot of confidence since then. I've gained a lot of perspective, a lot of like purpose. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I've been filled with purpose. I've been filled with this overwhelming feeling to be here for you guys, to show up for myself, to show up for this channel, to show up for my body, my mind, to learn more, to become a well-rounded individual. And again, just to bring up all these repressed parts of me that have been stuck for so long, that were due to trauma, were due to different experiences that I've had. And it's just time. And I feel like you guys, if you haven't had that experience yet in life, or you feel like you've had some sort of awakening or some sort of situation that has brought you to your knees, or some situation that has made you realize what's truly important to you, I feel like that is a very important part of this path. It's a very important part of the journey to find your purpose and your intention and why you're doing the things that you do. Because ultimately there's something that kind of reflects back to you where you realize, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, this is how I'm supposed to do it, and this is how I'm gonna go about it. So I don't think I have anything else to add to this. I think this is where I'm gonna leave this for today. I'm very, very excited to start this series for you guys. Like, you guys have no idea how excited I am. I have so many ideas, so many topics that I want to talk about. So definitely let me know if there's something that you want me to address, if there's something that you want me to talk about when it comes to like my life experiences, or just different topics you want to hear from me. Again, I have like a background in fitness for now like 10 years. I hold fitness and nutrition licenses. I'm also a Reiki master. If you guys have ever seen that in my bio, I hold Reiki master licenses for Usui Reiki and Egyptian Reiki. So if you guys want to ask me anything about like spirituality, fitness, and I still hold my knowledge from the times where I was when I was going to pursue the ultrasound technician career. So I do know a lot about the human body. I know a lot about like medical terminology, medical astrology as well. So I mean, literally anything, like just ask me and I can talk about something if I feel like it's gonna be, if there's enough for me to talk about, then I'll definitely address it. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much just like my intro, starting to do these podcasts on this channel. I really hope that this can help someone. I know that it was all over the place, so bear with me as I kind of get used to doing this, because I've never really like talked face to face to a camera for this long when it comes to like my own experiences. So like when I channel for you guys, when I do readings, it's like I'm reading your energy. It's reflecting back to me. So it's very easy for me to talk about it. But yeah, this is like literally the first time I'm ever doing this. I'm ever sharing anything about my life on here. So I feel like I've definitely grown a lot as a person. And I know that we're about to experience the last full moon in Capricorn here before Pluto kind of retrogrades back into Capricorn for the last time in a long time in our lifetimes. So over the past 15 years, I can definitely see a lot of my growth when it comes to spirituality, to learning, to higher knowledge. And I now realize that all of the things that I had to learn, all of the things that I had to go through is because so I could pretty much be here to show up for you guys now. So it's almost like I'm having a huge full circle moment in my life where everything makes sense. Everything is starting to kind of click into place when it comes to me just being a leader, being a guide for others, telling others how I've done things, and just, yeah, I don't know what else to say there, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave this here for you guys. It was really nice to sit here and talk to you about this, and I am really excited to come on here in the future. I really hope you were able to connect to this, and I will see you in one of my future podcast episodes. Bye.